Welcome back, Star Wars fans, to the channel where we dive deep into the stories, character, and lore of the galaxy far, far away that we all love. Today we'll be exploring some of the supporting characters throughout the Star Wars films and series, how important they really are to the entire narrative of the Star Wars saga, their individual shows, or just the movies they were involved with. Characters like Brasso from the Andor series, the legendary Lando Calrissian, Boba Fett from The Empire Strikes Back, and many others. So sit back and enjoy. This ought to be fun. But before I go into this deep dive and analysis, a quick word from our sponsor, me. If you're new here or are just enjoying my content but haven't committed yet, go on and hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss every time I upload a new Star Wars content. Let's see if we can get this channel up to 50,000 subscribers by this time next year. And as a quick service announcement, I will be changing the name of the channel to The Outer Rim soon. There's a reason for this, and I'll explain that at the end of this video. So please stick around to get the full scoop. Now, let's get into the unsung or lightly sung heroes of the Star Wars stories. In a galaxy as vast and interconnected as Star Wars, it's easy to focus on the main heroes and villains, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Palpatine. But what about the characters who don't take center stage? Those secondary players whose contributions, though sometimes subtle, have left a lasting impact on the Star Wars universe and have often sparked as much, if not more, discussion among the fandom. First, we're going to start with Brasso from Andor. Brasso, a dock worker on Ferrix, may not have the flashy armor of a bounty hunter or the mystical powers of a Jedi, but his contribution to the rebellion is undeniable. Unlike many characters who choose rebellion as a way of life, Brasso's resistance begins with simple human actions. He is a friend and protector, qualities that may seem mundane, but are the backbone of any resistance. Brasso's most defining moment comes during Marva Andor's funeral. As the Empire seeks to suppress the spirit of Ferrix, Brasso takes up the mantle of defiance. When he stands up to the Imperial forces, it's not just as a soldier. It's as a man honoring his friend and his community. In many ways, Brasso represents the ordinary citizen who decides at a crucial moment that enough is enough. His actions showcase the role of community in the rebellion, a reminder that not every hero wears a cape or wields a lightsaber. Brasso's character is a subtle but powerful illustration of how personal relationships and local communities play a pivotal role in shaping larger movements. His loyalty to Cassian, his reverence for Marva, and his willingness to fight for Ferrix elevate him to a significant figure within the Andor series, showing that even the quietest voices can create the loudest echoes. And let's not forget, he took on B2EMO. That's quite a guy. All right. From the dark worker to a charismatic scoundrel, we move to Lando Calrissian, a man who starts as a gambler but ends up becoming one of the most important figures in the rebellion. Introduced in The Empire Strikes Back, Lando is a character who blurs the line between loyalty and self-preservation, which is exactly what makes him so fascinating. Lando's first appearance is as a suave businessman, running Cloud City with style. His betrayal of Han Solo, while shocking, is understandable. He's trying to protect his people, but it's his redemption that makes him one of the most talked about secondary characters in Star Wars. In Return of the Jedi, Lando proves his loyalty to the rebellion by leading the attack on the second Death Star, piloting the Millennium Falcon into the heart of danger. His arc is the ultimate redemption story, showing that even those who make mistakes can rise to become heroes. Lando's charm, wit, and complex morality have sparked discussions in the fandom for years, making him a beloved character despite his secondary status. Let's not forget he played a crucial role in rescuing Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt. Lando embodies the theme of choice. He chooses the rebellion, just as he once chose to betray his friends. And in a galaxy defined by choices between good and evil, Lando's journey resonates as one of the redemption and heroism. Okay, let's move on to another side character, Few characters have had as much of an impact with as little screen time as Boba Fett. Introduced as a mysterious bounty hunter in The Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett captured the imaginations of fans across the world. His Mandalorian armor, jetpack, and ruthless efficiency made him an instant icon. His design was the father of all Mandalorians we have come to love today. But what really set Boba Fett apart was the aura and mystery surrounding him. In the original trilogy, we know almost nothing about him, just that he's a dangerous figure, respected by Darth Vader himself. This sense of mystique combined with his brutal methods led to a cult following among fans. Even after his apparent death in the Sarlacc pit, fans speculated endlessly about his survival, leading to his eventual return in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. But when you dig deep enough into the original trilogy, one could even say that a character with such little screen time, such as Boba Fett, created the narrative for the second half of The Empire Strikes Back and the first half of The Return of the Jedi. It's true. If not for Boba Fett, we would never have gotten the Bespin Cloud City scenes that we cherish, and this includes the famous "I am your father" reveal delivered by Darth Vader. The tracking of Han Solo and crew to Cloud City was all Boba Fett. Yes, eventually Darth Vader would have revealed it to Luke Skywalker in another way, but would Luke have hurried out of his training with Yoda if his friends weren't in distress? That was caused by Boba Fett. And sure, Jabba the Hutt would have likely had Han Solo captured eventually, but it wouldn't have played out the way we got it in Return of the Jedi. Han's ultimate rescue, that is. It's all thanks to a character with only 6.5 minutes of screen time, Boba Fett. And he is one of the most, if not the most, cosplayed character by the Star Wars fandom, still to this day. Okay, now we're going to move on to the light side of the Force. Mace Windu, a character with an imposing presence and an even more imposing purple lightsaber, is one of the most interesting Jedi to emerge from the prequels. Played by Samuel L. Jackson, Mace Windu was not just another Jedi, he was a symbol of the Jedi Order's strength and flaws. Not to mention, he always seemed to be angry. Windu's rigid adherence to the Jedi Code is what makes him both a formidable figure and a divisive one within the fandom. His mistrust of Anakin Skywalker, his belief in the Council's superiority, and his unflinching belief that the Jedi were always right ultimately contributed to the Order's downfall. In his final confrontation with Palpatine, we see Windu's tragic flaw, his inability to bend, to see the shades of gray in a world that was becoming more complicated by the minute. Despite his secondary status, Mace Windu's role in shaping the events of the prequels cannot be overstated. He is a character whose actions have been debated for years. Was he right to try to kill Palpatine? Could he have saved the Jedi Order by trusting Anakin more? These are questions that have fueled endless fan theories and discussions, ensuring Windu's place as one of the Star Wars' most intriguing and impactful characters. And it doesn't stop with Mace Windu, Boba Fett, and Lando Calrissian. Star Wars is filled with secondary characters who have had profound effects on the galaxy. Let's take Ahsoka Tano, for instance. During the Clone Wars, she was once Anakin Skywalker's apprentice, became a symbol of what it means to be a Jedi outside the strict boundaries of the Order. Her journey of self-discovery and her fight against the Empire made her a fan favorite, especially after the Clone Wars and Rebels. And now we have her live-action debut in The Mandalorian, cemented her legacy, and then her own show where she is now the central character, the Ahsoka series. Then we have Jyn Erso, though only appearing in Rogue One, represents the ultimate sacrifice for the rebellion. Her mission to steal the Death Star plans is a pivotal moment in Star Wars history, showcasing the power of ordinary individuals and shaping the fate of the galaxy. Yes, I call her a side character because she was only in one movie. Sorry, I know she was the star of that movie, but still, we didn't know her in A New Hope, so it happens. Okay, so from Brasso's quiet rebellion to his loud uprising to Boba Fett's rise to power, these secondary characters have become legends in their own right. They may not always be the center of attention, but their contributions to the galaxy far, far away are undeniable. They're proof that in Star Wars, every character, no matter how small their role, can have an enormous impact. The Star Wars universe is vast, and its stories are enriched by the depth and complexity of its secondary characters. So the next time you rewatch your favorite Star Wars movie or show, pay close attention to these unsung heroes. They might not always steal the spotlight, but without them, the galaxy would be a very different place. As we've seen, Star Wars is not just a story of chosen ones or legendary villains. It's a story about people like Brasso, Lando, Boba Fett, Mace Windu, and so many others who shape the galaxy in ways both large and small. Whether it's through loyalty, betrayal, honor, or sacrifice, these characters remind us that the fate of the galaxy is never in the hands of one individual, but rather collective of many souls, each playing their part in the grand narrative. Mon Mothma is another secondary character whose influence is felt throughout the Star Wars saga. From her early days as a senator opposing the growing tyranny of the Empire to her leadership in forming the Rebel Alliance, Mon Mothma represents the political backbone of the rebellion. Her quiet strength is what sets her apart from more action-driven characters. While she never takes part in physical combat, her role in unifying different factions of the rebellion cannot be overstated. She is the voice of reason, a leader who understands that the fight against the Empire is as much about ideology as it is about military strength. Mon Mothma's speeches and decisions have become iconic moments in Star Wars history, solidifying her place as one of the key artifacts in the rebellion. She may not wield a blaster or a lightsaber, but Mon Mothma's importance to the downfall of the Empire is undeniable. Without her, the rebellion would lack the cohesion and direction needed to take on such a monumental task. She is the strategist, the diplomat, and the moral compass of the rebellion. Now here's another fan favorite. It's hard to mention secondary characters without talking about the legendary Admiral Ackbar. Although best known for his iconic line, "It's a trap!" Ackbar's contributions to the rebellion and later the resistance extend far beyond that memorable moment. As a Mon Calamari, one of the key military strategists of the Rebel Alliance, Ackbar played a crucial role in planning and executing the Battle of Endor, which ultimately led to the destruction of the second Death Star and the beginning of the downfall of the Empire. Ackbar's tactical mind and leadership skills earned him the respect of both his peers and fans alike, becoming a symbol of resistance and resilience. Despite his secondary status, Ackbar's presence in the Star Wars universe has been profound. His no-nonsense approach to warfare and his dedication to the cause made him an unforgettable character, leaving fans to always remember his pivotal role in the victory over the Empire. Though he's now the central figure in his own series, Cassian Andor started out as a secondary character in Rogue One. His journey from a reluctant, morally gray rebel to a key player in the theft of the Death Star plans is one of the most nuanced character arcs in the Star Wars franchise. Cassian represents the darker side of the rebellion, the willingness to do whatever it takes to win, even if it means crossing ethical lines. Throughout Rogue One, we see him make tough decisions that challenge the typical heroic narrative. But this is what makes Cassian so compelling. He is a man who has sacrificed everything for the cause, and yet he constantly wrestles with the cost of those sacrifices. His character explores the complexities of a rebellion, how fighting for freedom isn't always black and white, and sometimes the people we consider heroes are carrying immense burdens. Cassian's journey, especially when explored further in Andor, adds a layer of depth to the rebellion that we don't often see with other characters. And now we're going to keep with Rogue One, and though they only appear in one film, Rogue One, Chirrut Îmwe and Baze Malbus have become iconic figures in the Star Wars universe. As guardians of the Whills, their connection to the Force is spiritual rather than practical. Chirrut's unwavering belief in the Force, despite not being a Jedi, adds a new dimension to how the Force operates in the galaxy. Chirrut Îmwe's mantra, "I am one with the Force and the Force is with me" has resonated deeply within fans, embodying the idea that faith is something greater than oneself can drive extraordinary acts of courage. Baze, on the other hand, represents a more grounded, pragmatic approach to the galaxy. Their friendship, built on mutual respect to fight their differing beliefs, is one of the emotional cores of Rogue One, and their sacrifice for the rebellion further cements their importance to the Star Wars saga. Chirrut and Baze's dynamic showcases the importance of belief, both in the Force and in each other, and how secondary characters can offer different perspectives on the themes central to Star Wars. And there are so many other characters secondary that could be brought up as well, and I may do another video on secondary and even third characters, such as General Rakier. Let's say that guy let Han Solo leave when he wanted to. What would have happened then? Han Solo's path would have been changed quite extensively. And as we've explored, the secondary characters of Star Wars are far more than just background players. They're the heart and soul of the galaxy, providing depth, nuance, and complexity to the stories we know and love. They're the friends, the leaders, the fighters, and the strategists who shape the outcomes of galactic conflicts, often in ways the main characters cannot. Without Brasso's courage, Lando's charm, Boba Fett's unrelenting pursuit, or Mace Windu's unwavering dedication, the Star Wars galaxy would feel much smaller. These characters remind us that everyone, no matter their rank or role, has the potential to make a difference. And that is perhaps the greatest lesson Star Wars teaches us, that no matter where you come from or how small your part may seem, you have the power to change the fate of the galaxy. Okay, now let's get into the part that I mentioned at the beginning with the channel name becoming the Outer Rim. There's a big reason for this, and it's because there's a lot of discourse in the Star Wars community right now in the fandom, and I want to separate myself from that. And I feel like having the name Fanatic puts me right in the middle of it, and it invites people in to start debating me and saying all these neat things that I love hearing and all of you love hearing. But that's not what this channel is about. This channel is about our love for Star Wars and analyzing the deeper meanings of the Star Wars community and the Star Wars fandom and the Star Wars lore and characters and all that stuff. So that's what I'm going to stick to, and I'm going to have a name that exemplifies that. So there are some community polls going on right now. I'm still working on logos. There's a few up for poll for you guys to vote on if you'd like to. But just so you know, the final version of my current logo is not complete yet. That's just the stand-in that I have in there. But before we go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, leave a comment, like, share the video, share it with a friend, a helmet you have laying around, whatever. Just share it. Let's see if we can get up to 50,000 subscribers by this time next year. Until the next time, this is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic for now, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching, and remember, may the Force be with you, always.